Joan Howe. I'm the ranger at Tennessee National Wildlife Refuge, and today's topic is the mighty hummingbird. So hummingbirds are very small birds. There are many in this world. Here's a page from this book of several of the hummingbirds. They're usually brightly colored in there, and they fly very, very fast. Matter of fact, if you count in 1 second, that's like saying one Mississippi, they can flap their wings 80 times in 1 second. So they flap so fast that they actually make a humming sound when they fly, hence the name hummingbird. Now, another cool fact about this bird is that they are the only bird that can fly backwards. And if you ever watch a hummingbird, you will see them flying backwards. It's pretty cool. Now, they can't smell very much at all, but they do have very good eyesight, and they're especially attracted to the color red. And you will see them usually around flowers. This bird migrates. It's a migratory bird. Matter of fact, it is the smallest bird that migrates. And what does it mean when a bird migrates? Well, that is moving seasonally from the North America to South America, north and south, depending on the season. And to understand migration, it's a means of survival. But you have to think about, what do hummingbirds eat? Well, they eat the nectar out of the flowers. The nectar is the juicy stuff that's in the middle of the flowers. And so they have a very long bill that is able to stick down in the flowers, and they have a tongue that comes out and laps up the nectar from the flower. A lot of people don't know this, but also hummingbirds eat a lot of insects too as well, and that's a big part of their diet. And if you think about it, here in the wintertime, it's pretty cold and snowy, and so we don't have any flowers, and there's not a lot of insects out, and so it's pretty hard for them to survive. And so they will do this amazing adaptive behavior called migration, fly hundreds of miles closer to the equator, down to Mexico or South America, where it's warmer and there are flowers and there are insects, so that they can survive the winter. And then when it's summertime again, they will return back up to these parts. Now, the one that we have around here is the ruby-throated hummingbird. And this is the only bird that will nest east of the Mississippi River, the only hummingbird. So this is a male ruby-throated hummingbird. And so if you can see, I know that because of the ruby throat, ruby is the color red, is only on the males. The females will look a lot like this and will not have the red throat. Also, the very young males don't have the red throat until they're old enough. But this is a good, healthy, adult male ruby-throated hummingbird. And this particular bird will migrate sometimes all the way from Canada down to Mexico or South America, hundreds of miles, which is pretty amazing. Now, how people love the hummingbirds. And they love having them close by. How can you help and attract them close to your house? It's easy, and we'll show you how. So here's how people attract hummingbirds to their home and able to help the hummingbird. They hang up a feeder like this one. This is specifically a feeder for a hummingbird, and you will notice that it has the color red on it. Remember, hummingbirds are attracted to red, so it's pretty important that your hummingbird feeder have something red actually on the feeder part there. And inside is, we create our own nectar. And nectar is pretty easy to make. You just combine sugar and water. And there's a specific ratio that you need to follow when mixing this up, and you can remember it by using your hand. 4 parts water to 1 part sugar. Remember, your thumb is always the sugar, so 1 sugar to 4 parts water. What do we mean by parts? That's simply a measurement. So it could be a cup or a tablespoon or a teaspoon. But however many you put in, you put 4 water and you put in 1 sugar. So today we are going to mix it up with a cup. So I have 1 cup of sugar poured in, and I've already measured out 4 cups of water. Now, the water can just come right out of your tap. Some people will leave it out overnight or boil it or whatever, but you don't have to. What they're trying to do is get the chlorine out of the water there. But you can just let it sit for a while and that will be fine. So if you pour the water into the sugar, then all you need to do is get a spoon or a whisk like this one and just mix it up there, and the sugar will dissolve into the water and you created your own nectar. Now, there is one important thing that we need to remember, and this is the most important thing that I'm going to tell you on this video. It's kind of an old-fashioned notion that some people put red dye, drops of red dye, into their water. They think that the water itself has to be red to attract the hummingbird. This is completely false. Only the red on the feeder is needed to attract there. The water should not have any red dye in it, and here's why. The hummingbird actually gets sick when it drinks water with red dye in it. Its little liver cannot process the dye in the water, and eventually you will kill the hummingbird by putting dye in your water. So no red dye. Say it out loud. No red dye. That's an important part to this exercise that we are doing. So all you would need to do then is just pour the water into your hummingbird feeder and then hang it up. You can hang it close to your house. But one thing, sometimes having it near a bush, probably a bush bigger than this one, close by. Sometimes the hummingbirds like to land on the bush, and it can be 10-20 feet away there, but they can land on the bush and then look around to see if it's okay, and then they will come to their hummingbird feeder there. Now, if you don't have a hummingbird feeder at your home, don't go get one. This is coronavirus time. You need to be staying at home. So you can actually make your own feeder if you have a red solo cup like this one. You can actually turn this into your own hummingbird feeder. You get a pair of scissors and you're going to cut out two little sections on either side of the cup like this, and you're going to punch some holes into the cup. I'm going to get a little closer that you can see there's a hole in there and a hole in there, and so your cup looks like this. Then all you're going to do is take your string and you're going to put it through the hole there, and you're going to tie it on one side like this. Just make a couple of knots in it, and then you're going to take the string to the other side and you're going to tie it up like, if I can get my string through there, like this. And now you have something to hang it by. Then all you have to do is pour some of your hummingbird water in, the wind's blowing, in your hummingbird feeder and hang it up, and voila, you have a hummingbird feeder there. Now you can put stickers on this. They are completely attracted by the color red, so it doesn't matter, but you can decorate it any way you want, and you can have your own very hummingbird feeder. Now, hummingbirds are here. I have already seen for several days now our hummingbirds. They just got here and they're very hungry. And so the one thing to know is that they're going to be coming to your feeder, but they might pass on and head up more north. They may just visit your feeder for a couple of days and head on. So the hummingbirds you see in the summertime are not the same ones the whole summer, because they're migrating through here and passing on. So this is your daily activity for today, the mighty hummingbird.